everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my January to spring reading wrap up, covering everything that I've read from January 1st to March 21st. This season I had a mix of new reads, comfort rereads, and even some books that didn't quite hit the mark for me. Some were instant favorites, others not so much. Let's get into it. January was a solid reading month for me, and I actually kicked the year off with a favorite. Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson. This one was hands down my January favorite. I love Lana Ferguson books, and this one was no different. Such a great way to start the year. Next up, I read Married to the Devil by Lillian Lark. I really wanted to love this book, but it just didn't hit the same as the rest of the series. It lacked depth, though it was well written and I did finish it. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. Next, I read Truly Madly Deeply by L.J. Shen. I really enjoyed this one. One thing that stood out was how much work went into rekindling relationships. It wasn't instant, which I really appreciated. Next up, we have Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. Ada Spunk loved it. She was her own person, and Callum definitely underestimated her at first. But once he caught up, he became one of her biggest supporters. Stolen Air by Sophie Lark. This was really good, but I would have loved a bit more time between Nessa returning home and then marrying Nikolaj, simply because I wanted to see her family embrace the new her. Savage Lover by Sophie Lark. I really enjoyed this one. Camille and Nero's relationship felt super relatable. The only thing I didn't love, bonus scene. Then we have Bloody Heart by Sophie Lark. The second chance romance in this one, amazing, loved it. Broken Vow by Sophie Lark. This one was my favorite of the series. Rona is a total badass, and I loved how Raylan was a perfect grounding force for her. And Heavy Crown by Sophie Lark. A solid finale to the war with the Russians. Yelena had such a rough time under her father's control, and then with Sebastian's struggles, but in the end everything worked out and they were amazing together. February was another great month for reading, with a mix of long-awaited books and new favorites. Wallbanger by Alice Clayton. I finally read this one, and it was so good. Honestly, Clive the Cat stole the show. Next up would be Dance, Butterfly Dance by Reese Rivers. This one had me raging at Savvy's stepmother and stepsister, and the end, not my favorite, but since it's a duet, I get why it ended that way. Burn, Butterfly Burn by Reese Rivers. I loved this one. It was the perfect ending to the duet, and Savvy finally got the happy ending she deserved. Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. I pre-ordered this book last year, so I was so excited to finally read it, and yes, I got one of the special edition copies with printed edges. Loved it. Sig and Chloe's relationship was just everything. Next of Kin by Hannah Bonham Young. The adoption aspect made this story so heartwarming. Warren and Chloe's relationship was amazing, and Warren's brother Luke and Chloe's baby sister Willow added so much chaos in the best way. Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. Super cute. Loved that Lane impulsively bought a bus and decided to live in it. The character growth was so well done. Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. One night stand and accidental pregnancy. Yes, please. I love those tropes. Win and Beau's relationship started out as convenience but turned into something amazing. Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. I love the fresh take on a struggling marriage. Instead of just fighting and suddenly fixing things, Sarah and Caleb worked on their relationship. The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Dannon. Naomi was everything, a total no-nonsense kind of person, and pairing her up with Ethan, a rabbi, such a great dynamic. Mr. Fixer-Upper by Lucy Score. I love Lucy Score, and this book didn't disappoint. Paige and Gannon's slow burn relationship over the years was so well done. Shipped by Angie Hockman. Honestly, I expected more. It was good, just not as spicy as my usual reads, and it took me a long time to get into it. And then I went into my Highlander comfort rereads, so Falling for the Highlander by Lindsay Sands, Surrender to the Highlander by Lindsay Sands, and Hunting for a Highlander by Lindsay Sands. Pure comfort reads, always amazing. And I did a couple more comfort reads because I needed to restart the reading bug, so I reread His Bride for the Taking by Tessa Dare and How to Catch a Wild Viscount by Tessa Dare. Always a good choice. March was a big reread month. I kept reaching for comfort books, but I did start a few new ones as well. So first I read Lola and the Millionaires Part 1 and Part 2 by Catherine Moon. I loved these on the first read, and I love them again. Next I read Pack Bound and Pack Bliss by Kate King and Jessa Wilder, another set of rereads that I couldn't resist. And then I read Pretend You're Mine and Finally Mine by Lucy Score. They're both new rereads for this month. They had everything I love: small town romance, fantastic character growth, and just the right amount of tension. I also started another book. I haven't finished it yet. Protecting What's Mine by Lucy Score. This one is part of the same series as Pretend You're Mine and Finally Mine. I'm still reading it, and it's been slow going for me lately. I've been struggling to focus, so I ended up picking up some other comfort reads instead. I am working on it. And I also reread my Nicole Rose series. I have 4 different series of hers. I also have a bunch of single books, but the series I reread. So her Alpha series, His Bride series, Claimed series, and Love on the Clock series, all super cute, easy reads. And then I also reread Katerina Mora's books, The Wrong Bride, The Temporary Wife, The Unwanted Marriage, The Secret Fiancé, and The Broken Vows. They're comfort reads that I will keep going back to. So those are the books that I read from January 1st to March 21st. As you can see, I had a mix of new reads and rereads with a lot of comfort books thrown in. I'm definitely in a rereading phase right now, but I'm also hoping to get back into some new releases soon. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books or if you have any recommendations based on my wrap-up. So, like, subscribe, and comment for more bookish content, and I will see you guys next time.